Hi guys, welcome to devotion number 31. We've been doing this for a month now. That's crazy. But today's devotion is called Pulling the Weeds. Know this, my beloved brothers. Let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger, for the anger man does not produce the righteousness of God. Therefore put away all filthiness and rampant wickedness, and receive with meekness the implanted word, which is able to save your soul. And from the scripture, I can't remember if I was at church when I heard this, if I was watching a sermon when I heard this, or like a podcast or something. I think it was a sermon, but I ain't sure what a sermon was. And it was saying like, slow to speak, slow to anger, for anger of the man does not produce righteousness. Like, and no, I don't know what it, I think I talked about this in a video a long time ago. I can't remember. But anyway, like I said, we should be slow to anger, slow to speak, but quick to listen. A lot of times, situations go left because we don't like to listen. We hear one word, and there we go, popping out. We angry, we speaking, and half the time, if you speak so quick in a situation, you're going to say something or do something that you're going to later regret. Because sometimes the situation could have been avoided anyway if you would just sit back and listen. And that's the thing we don't like to do. Like, we don't like to listen. We just like to automatically just pop off at people and go crazy, and we don't want to feel weak. But sometimes every situation don't deserve a response. We need to be slow, like I said, quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger. And we don't even need to anger no way, because if you let stuff get you that mad when you acting crazy, then you need to be praying, and whatever that is, that person's situation, you need to leave it alone, because if it make you act like that, then it's not for you. Oh, and the verse was James 1:19 through 21. I ain't even tell y'all the verse. Okay, it says, each day new problems and challenges arise. Often we push them to the side and deal with them later. Did you ever leave the dishes in the sink after dinner and wait until the next morning to wash them? The baked chicken is definitely not coming off now without soaking the pan. But what about weeds growing in your yard? The longer you let them grow, the more they spread. The deeper you let the roots get, and the harder they are to pull out when you tackle the job. We tend to let our problems grow like this. If something currently bothering you, a situation that you just can't seem to get out your head, while some circumstances are hard to face head on, trust me, I know, they may be even harder to deal with when they start to grow roots and spread. It could be time to nip it in the bud, as they say. This can apply to your job too. It's best to put out the fire you come up before it spreads. Sometimes we want to sweep our problems under the proverbial rug, or leave them buried. But this is when they can really take hold of our hearts. Sometimes we hide our pain for years and are surprised when it pops up out of nowhere and hurts us again. It's only when we bring our problems and pains into the light that we can find true restoration and relief. While it's true that God heals all wounds in time, the wounds aren't fully clean to heal properly if they aren't addressed. Perhaps it's time to work with Him to deal with those that are coming to mind today. And a lot of times, like it says, stuff happens, we push it under the rug, and that hinders you a lot. Like you go through stuff in life and you hold on to it for so long, But also, like, I watched a sermon that I kind of, resonated with. It was like, we have these wounds. We give it to God, but then we steady pick it. We steady pick it like a scab on the soul. And they use that as a reference, an analogy. Okay, they was like, so if somebody hurt you or you went through this in life, you give it to God so He can heal you from it. But you always going back to revisit it to see if it's gone away. And they said just like a scab, if once the covering once you done put your medicine on it and covered it up, and the skin started to form, but there you go, you pick the skin off, and now that wound is reopened again. And a lot of times that's how we do in life. Like, we need to, if we feel the need to acknowledge it, you should acknowledge it with the person, give it to God, and let God handle the situation, and consider that wound closed, because once you give it to Him, it's out of your hand anyway, and you're not supposed to be worried about it. But if you keep going back and forth, picking at it, or back to the situation you're giving Him, then it's going to forever stay an open wound, and it's going to forever weigh on your heart, forever give you guilt, forever put hate in you, forever hinder you, and you know, continue to eat at you because you're continuously opening it up. And that's just like situations or relationships, like, or jobs, like I said, like you gave it to God. You told him, I don't want to be here no more. It's not serving my purpose. It's draining me. And he pulled you out. But you go back again. So now the wound reopening, you praying for the same healing again from what you just told him to heal you from, because you started going back. Then you got this says, can you recall a time or situation where you have buried past pains or problems? What are you pushing aside today? A relationship that needs healing or something that needs to be addressed at home? Don't wait. Even if you want to sweep it under the rug and deal with it later, you'll feel much better once everything is done and sorted out. And like it said, a lot of times some stuff just need to be talked about. And like that's another thing that we don't like to do as a people. We don't like to talk about feelings or talk about emotions. And sometimes some people don't even know how to talk about them. That's the problem. Like we so not used to talking about problems, with the problem that when we do is always altercation because nobody knows how to handle the truth, or they can't handle the message, or the person that's explaining it don't know how to come off and say it in a nice way. I mean, you know, it's just so much that can go into this. Like it's simple, but then it's not simple, because sometimes people, and like for me with situations, I'd rather not talk about them with the person. I just like, you know, go on about my business, because I feel like sometimes if I express myself, they're not gonna understand it, because they're gonna feel like I'm coming off as angry when I'm not. I'm just expressing my feelings. And like I feel like people who always feel like somebody's angry when they're trying to explain something to them, they don't like to hear the truth. They don't like to, you know, they don't like to be told about themselves, because they want to be, you know, they kind of paint themselves as perfect. So they're like, your feelings don't matter, only mine. But time you do something they don't like, they come to you to talk about it. But it's just a lot. So I mean, we can go on about this subject all day, but like the scripture said, just be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger. Stop letting stuff get us so mad. And sometimes if we would just listen, stuff wouldn't even go as far as it goes. So yeah, that was devotion number 31. I know that's a topic a lot of people can have something to say about, so y'all leave a comment down below on what y'all think of the topic. And y'all have a blessed day.